Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about Edison Motors update. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is the problem that we need as Edison Motors to save us basically? Well, problem is the first time EV went to mainstream and like public hype happened, that happened 18 years ago in 2008 with this puppy, which was Roadster 2008. Now here's the deal. By 2010, China and USA, and you have to understand that whenever you are figuring out data, you have to make sure that data sources are useful. For example, if you want to like, oh, EV has successfully reduced fuel consumption, no, it has never done that. But you can look at some tiny nation in Europe and be like, da, that's true. So filter out your data. What is the best filtering point? Population. Basically, what 3 billion people on the planet does, that matters far more than like a country that somehow is a country that has barely enough people for my neighborhood in India. So India, China, USA, these three. And if you want to be more inclusive, go till top 10. Indonesia, I think, is the 9th or 10th. Indonesia, Brazil, you get the point. That will give you much more accurate data. So in this, we're going to focus on three top daddies, which is China and USA. They started subsidy war in 2010. They subsidize a lot. And India also got into it a bit later in 2015, millions of dollars. Now, how much money we are talking about to make this off the ground, so to say? $231 billion was given by China. Again, Chinese government is saying that it's like we spent this much to make electric vehicle real thing. Complete waste of money, but okay. $50 billion by USA to make it real. Again, complete waste of money. And India, $3 billion. Now, America makes more than enough, so they can afford it. China is world's factory, they can afford it. We can't afford this 10,000 crore. It's an Indian rupee unit. 10,000 crore is subsidy. And this is, by the way, this is phase 2. We have more phase planned where we're going to burn more money. Now, here's the deal. Spending money, doing subsidy is not wrong, nor it's bad if done correctly. For example, India went YOLO on solar subsidy. Now, did it work? Yes. It literally reduced the price of electricity in India, and the peak summertime where our grid used to strain because of AC load, solars are like, I got you, fam. That happened. Basically, our energy security went up, where it's like, bro, we got this. We good. So subsidy there translated into useful thing. That was one of the best success story we had. So compare that and contrast that to basically electric vehicle. Yeah, fuel consumption from 2010 to 2025, yeah, it has only went up. There was one minor dip that happened on 2020. Basically, the world went boom because of something known as pandemic. So other than that, the consumption went bonkersly high. USA went 8.5% up. Now, you may sound that number is not that bad. It's horrifying given the fact that country is not huge and they consume a lot. So even 1% hike is like, damn, 8.5% hike in less than 30 years. That's scary. China, they burned $231 billion, not yuan, dollars. Yeah, 107% hike. Basically, if you were 2010 versus 2025, 15 years, yeah, they spent billions of dollars and then they consumed more fuel. And India, 130%. Yeah, the amount of money we spent, like, we could have made seaweed biofuel for free at that kind of money. And we could have been like, well, we are carbon neutral. The infrastructure we spent 200 years building, it's fine, it's dandy, everything is great. But no, we gotta burn money on this. So fundamentally, and what does it mean for common public, you and I? Well, if government burns that kind of money, A, to buy fuel, B, to burn in subsidy, and subsidy does not return a system, it means inflation happens. Basically, petrol prices in India used to be 51 rupees. Again, pay attention to the unit, 51. Now it's above 100. So yeah. And be mindful, this is not generational upgrade. Oh, it's like 30 years later. It's 15. So yeah, it's bad. It's getting bad. Again, food price, milk price went up. India, milk price should never ever go up in India, but it did. And only thing that went down is internet. That I have to say. India has badass internet. Like, you guys have no idea how badass our internet is. And for years it has been. So that's there. Monthly rent, let's not even talk about that. Cylinders, eesh. So Fundamentally, that's the problem. We can't keep burning money. And by the way, this is FEMA phase 2. They're like, okay, we're going to phase 3, we're going to burn more money because, oh yeah. And then we're going to buy more fuel. Oh yeah. Another thing, whenever you're looking at data, please do not look at 1 year or 2 year. Again, if you had like directly looked at 2020 data, it would be like, oh, it worked. But it was pandemic dip. So please always zoom out in data and pay attention to the largest population country, top 10, to get a clear picture. These 3 things I'm focusing because that's 3 billion people on the planet. So big sample size. So translation, we burnt money, we spent time. If nothing happens in 4 years, that's not an issue. If nothing happens in 10 years, that is an issue. If nothing happens in 15 years of continuous subsidies, yeah, there's an issue. By the way, if you ever wondered why Elon Musk opened the charging standard, that was the unique selling point of Tesla's. $1 billion was the subsidy price. Basically, you paid for it. So that's the problem. Like, we are burning money. We are paying for more fuel, and I can guarantee you, without a shadow of doubt, in 2030, we would consume even more. Right now, people's projection is by 2035, it would be exponentially more. And be mindful, it is horrifying given the fact that our population is shrinking. And if you do not know the population is never measured by the large number that you say, oh, 1.5 billion people. That's not how population is measured. Population, if you really want to measure it, you measure it via pyramid. As in, one side would be male, one side would be female, and it would be slotted like this. 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. That's how you slot it. Now, if the pyramid is looking like this, as in like you have more children and a few old people, that is a growing population, as in Nigeria and other African nations. That's a growing pyramid. If it's like this, it's a stable country, meaning the population is fixed. It's almost neither growing nor expanding. If it becomes like this, basically you have fewer children and a lot of old people, you die. It's called inverted pyramid. You die in 90 years. China went there. If you want to figure it out, it's called family unit of 4 to 1. You die in 90 years. So that's why China went from 1-child policy to 3-child policy to right now. I'm pretty sure they might be trying to for 4, but you die. And again, people in the top does not consume fuel because, again, if you are above 60, if you are above retirement age, you're not burning fuel, you're not driving buses, you're not driving trucks, you're not doing that much. So your carbon footprint goes down, your fuel consumption goes down worldwide. So fundamentally, you have to pay attention to the younger crowd. And if younger crowd is consuming more while shrinking, that's a horrifying thing, specifically if you're burning billions of dollars on it in order to reduce the system. So that's a problem. At this point in time, if you deny this data, that's up to you. I can't reach you at that point in time. Earth is flat, get over it. So what's the solution? That's the problem. Cool, awesome. What's the solution? Solution, thankfully, all we have to do is make electric vehicle, but with range extender. Scientific technology, series hybrid, nothing else. That's the, and be mindful, when I'm talking range extender, please make sure the battery is small, not subsidized battery, which is huge. Small batteries. So the main thing you have to understand, our internal combustion engine, after almost a century of refinement, it's efficient as hell. Like, it's like smooth puppy. But then why don't we get the mileage? Like, why your bank balance hurts? Well, here's the ICE engine have this graph. Now, be mindful, we have always known this. It was the fuel was not expensive enough. Now it is. So this graph is known as brake specific fuel consumption. What does that mean? That simply means if you are measuring an engine, not a car. Car is different because, again, you can have the same engine. For example, my car has K10 engine that is from Fiat, from exclusively utilized by Maruti. Maruti has that K10 engine in multiple models. So each model will have a different fuel rating. Why? Mileage. Why? Because, again, chassis weight is different. For that reason, when you are measuring engine, you have to measure in an independent unit known as brake specific fuel consumption, meaning you put this puppy into a dyno, you load the RPM and you load that shaft by increments. So basically 10 Newton meter, 20 Newton meter, 30, 40, you torque it. And again, you do it at every RPM. That gives you this graph. And this number, that 200, 220, 300, this number is basically the grams of fuel burnt in order to produce 1 unit of electricity, 1 kilowatt hour. So we generally simplify everything and it's just a number, 225. 225 is good. Like, if you buy the best, most optimized hella butter engine that is from Honda, and Toyota also has some of the butter engines, they can touch 222. That's the most efficient engine on road. The best efficient engine in terms of just raw efficiency is ship diesel engines. Those puppy can touch 150 grams for 1 unit of electricity. Road, you can touch 220. Now here's the, what does that mean for you and I? Yeah, that means you should be able to get 30 kilometer per hour per liter without any issue. Like, wait a minute, we barely get 22. Miles per gallon is the same story. Whatever number you think in miles per gallon that normally should be, you should be able to get 30 to 40% more of that. But then why don't we? Well, real world happens. So your engine can only give that sweet spot at the sweet spot. For example, in this engine design, at 2500 rpm at 70 newton meter loading, it will give the most efficient power, meaning the radiator will also not heat up that much, because again, most of the chemical energy released is being converted into mechanical, not waste heat. Now you might think, okay, what if I underload it? Yeah, it burns more fuel. That's the most unintuitive thing about engines, but it has that. If you underload it, like same RPM, let's say 2600, but like again, let's say you are riding downhill. Yeah, if you go to 30, now you are burning, give or take, 260 instead of 20. Basically, you're burning more fuel. You can go down, if you go down to very low, like 10 and something, yeah, 700. So fundamentally, engines just have this tight sweet spot. If you can stay there, you would be shocked how mileageful your engine is. So, okay, engines are awesome. We just can't use it because again, when you drive it, this is your car computer going. So yeah, you're not gonna get mileage out of this. So the solution is disconnect, float the engine. Have engine that is directly driving the generator. Generator has the advantage, you can lock the road RPM, you can lock the loading also based on the rotor current, so to say. So you can lock it as like, okay, go to this RPM, go to this torque loading, the end. Basically convert the fuel the most efficiently possible throughout the operation range, because there is no range. You turn it on, it does the end. And the energy goes into battery drives the motor, and that is efficient in real life use. Now like, okay, how? If you're going through this many conversion, first the source has been improved. This versus a static source, you have enough wiggle room to splurge. Transmission is not 100% efficient, and not to mention the development in recent years in electric vehicle system, basically the drivetrain, it is efficient, like smooth efficient, like very, very efficient. Like you do not have to worry, like every single node is above 95% nowadays. It is normal. Like if you're below 95%, it's like, is it low cost? That's what people ask you. So it is very efficient in real world. Now question is it me saying it or is the real world data? Yeah, we have been doing it for 1 century. Diesel locomotive, they learned very early on ago, where it's like, yeah, if you directly drive to diesel engine directly coupling to the wheels, yeah, it's not gonna work effectively. People tried with hydraulic gears, magnetic gears, this gear, that gear, yeah, none of them worked. So eventually somebody had a brilliant idea, it's like float the engine. So there is a giant, what we call prime mover, driving alternator, aka generator. Alternator creates energy, energy goes into the motors that are driving the wheels. Floating, you're physically floating it. Result, fundamentally more efficient, meaning these things would not even be possible if you did not have that drivetrain. Like just, it won't be possible. The normal locomotive that you think, the big behemoth that can actually run, yeah, it would not be possible without that. Oh, submarines also do the same thing. They turn the generator, but again, when they snorkel, they turn the generator, charge the battery, the end. Big dump trucks, people try it, planetary gear, this gear and that gear, and eventually they reached a point as like, just have a generator floating, because again, electric motor has much more smoother torque and you need torque. This did that. By the way, you can buy bulldozers right now. And by the way, this does not even have a battery. It literally runs the engine floating, almost like these. All these three things, none of them have a battery. And they are still 10% more efficient compared to direct drive. At lowest, at highest 35%. Add battery, add regen, is like, bro, chill. So it's a known thing. We know how can we reduce fuel consumption of the planet, because again, if you reduce fuel consumption by 10% of truck fleet, one truck, that translates to removing one car from the road. So if you reduce fuel consumption of every single heavy lift truck, that would have significant impact on the air quality, pollution, noise pollution, all other things. And not to mention, people will love it simply because that engine braking that destroys your eardrum won't be there. Regenerative braking, quiet. So there is solution. Thankfully, solution is there. Meaning, if we start today, by 2035, we can reduce fuel consumption by 35%. And I mean compared to today's, not like, oh, it went up, then it went down. No, no, no. Compared to today. That's how effective this technology is. Now again, it was not possible to miniaturize before 1993. 1993, this is when Toyota released their first series parallel hybrid. Yeah, it was a combi weird thing. They did that. Honda did that in 1998. So we could have done that, but then Elon Musk happened and then the world becomes stupid. Basically, if we remove the full EV, just have a EV, and it's just that, hey, it's a small battery. Just 99% of the time, you don't worry about it. But when you have to drive very long range, it's just an engine at that point in time. And if you are like a truck heavy loaders, it is an engine system, just far more efficient with regenerative braking. So that is the solution that we can do today, not just burn money, save today. So Edison, now he's the only individual which I have seen that is actually doing that. Now let the are there cars that can do that? I'm not gonna count series parallel hybrid system. If your engine can touch the wheels via gearbox, that does not count. That's what Toyota has been trying. That's what Ford, even Ford has done that. They call it transaxle. Ford has tried that. Honda has tried that. And again, it did not displace everything else because it's too complex. It has too much. They are like, okay, what if we add product managers loves that because it allows you to add the horsepower. Basically, you have 50 horsepower electric motor, 50 horsepower engine. No, but it's a 100 horsepower car. It's like, it's not, but it sounds orgasmic. So product manager destroys the planet because of that. So he's the only one I've seen where it's like, no, we are not going to do that. Or Nissan e-Power Mark III, not Mark 1, not Mark 2, Mark 3, that has floating engine. So realize nobody was making trucks for vocational use. Vocational use meaning heavy duty puppies, and these puppies are go remote location, meaning where you cannot extend your electrical infrastructure. Most people have no idea how hard it is to charge anything of this scale. These things can consume hundreds of units of electricity, which mind you is a small block in a city. Like for example, Volvo released a truck in India, it's like 800 units. I'm like, are you mad? That's not something that you can charge. Even if you have the charger, you can't, like that many units is expensive. So, and again, the only way that you make sense is like, okay, now you subsidize the charger, subsidize the electricity on the charger, and then pay for the fuel anyway. So fundamentally, you cannot, because again, 11 kilovolt will not stretch for hundreds of kilometers. You have to use like 200 kV, and these puppies go into like, remote location for log loading. Yeah, you're not going to have a charger there. They don't have road there. You're not going to have a goddamn charger there. That's not happening. So they're like, okay, what can we do? Series hybrid that can actually save today. Oh, and it will also solve diesel trucks. One of the biggest hurdle is like whenever you're returning empty, you're burning more fuel per kilometer. Like engine is not happy. And people are like, okay, what if it disables cylinder? It's like, what if your engine is off? Because at that time, like your truck could be unloaded 15 tons, fully loaded 60 ton. When you're in 15-ton batteries, like, bro, I'm going to drive this puppy to 100 kilometers. So that's the whole thing. Remote location and tough. So he paid money to Elon Musk. Elon Musk trolled him and he's like, okay, I'm going to build my own. So he built his own, started to build Mark 1. And that was the Mark 1 properly built. And then he's like starting to make this system. And fundamentally, you can follow his whole journey, multi-year journey on YouTube. Everything is documented. Instagram, Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is banned in India. That's why it's hard for me to remember. So fundamentally, enough people who know trucks, who drive truck, they're like, bro, I'm paying you, please make this truck. So slowly they started to scale up exponentially. Like there was so much enthusiasm about his company. It was like, hey, remember when Canada used to have truck companies? Now they have nothing. Now they rely on Trump daddy to deliver them trucks. If they do not, they die. So he's like, everybody wanted to, like there was one town is like, no, but you have this legislation. We're going to F you, and this other town is like, bro, just come. Just come. So fundamentally, it started to grow, expand, and he does not have brain damage of startups. He's not like, okay, we're going to make hundreds of trucks. No, first batch. And there is good reason for that. First is these things are heavy. These things are expensive. So they're like making only 5 of these first, get them into the road, get them tested, and then make batch 2, then make batch 3, batch by batch. So do not go what we call Tesla Motors route, where it's like, we're going to smoke hydrogen and we're going to sell you a truck. Government will pay you billions of dollars and then you're going to go banker because F the public. It's not that. It's very logical, very methodic. Only people who are investing in it, they can afford the risk. So the whole supply chain is being, and again, people are like, bro, let me risk it. I will risk it. That's how effective this philosophy is. And not to mention, you can see how the truck was made. And after that, you'll be like, I'm buying that. Why? It does not have plastic. Like plastic hoses? No. What is that? Steel encapsulated in rubber. Why? Those things last 50 years. How do we know? It has been lasting for past 50 years. Plastic hoses, yeah, they break in 10 years. And after that, good luck trying to ever seal them. And he's like, okay, we're going to give you that. And here's the deal. We're going to give you extra long tubes. It's like, what does that matter? That matters because, again, things flex. They will crack. The joints are the first thing that cracks. You replace the joint. Your tube shrinks. But again, if the tube had the slack, voila. Again, basically old school World War II philosophy. In World War II, America was worried what if Germany comes to them and goes boom boom on their factories, they will run out of heavy equipment. So a law was created where it was like, okay, we're going to standardize every heavy equipment, meaning truck headlights, it would be standardized size and everybody will manufacture it. Everybody, including Canada. All of them will do that for everything. The air brakes, hand brakes, all of those things, basically parts. Basically, any Tom, Dick and Harry can just kit bash a truck together. So that was done for World War II for redundancy reason, and only recently, if I'm not mistaken, they disabled it. It's like, okay, the parts are still there. What if we can use it? Instead of creating custom parts so we can F the customer, what if we use the standard made parts that last for decades? So that's why people are like, bro, just make the truck, I'll buy it at 2x the price. That's not an issue. So market asks them for mechanical truck because, again, fundamentally speaking, you have more parts in a hybrid system, and it is a new system. So they do not have the economy of scale or Elon Musk brain damage. So they can't just harness $1 trillion from a market where, even though they don't sell enough of it, so they can't do that. So they were like, okay, just make the mechanical truck. We'll be happy. Instead of buying trucks that are made out for, like, highway, and sell it as a vocational truck, we'll make some robust puppies. They're like, okay, we're gonna do that. And then government is like, whoa, 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 what do you mean you are trying to solve the problem? What do you mean? Like, it's illegal. You're supposed to bitch. You're not supposed to solve the problem. So they basically created bureaucracy to block him. So that happened. Again, you can watch the full journey. It is mind-bogglingly awesome, and it will allow you to personally hate every single other truck manufacturer worldwide. So update why I'm making this video. They could not make series hybrid system because government was like, hey, wait a minute. You're telling me that an engine, let's say made by Scania, made by Cummins, that was certified under government regulation, you are putting it on a truck. And again, you're not putting gearbox driving it. That would be fair. If you do that, you would require recertification. You're not doing that. You're driving an electric generator. It was designed for driving an electric generator, and you are putting on a truck, and you have to recertify it. It's like, why? Like, and be mindful, recertification is something that Elon Musk can afford. He can't. Most people can't. And again, I know from experience because A, I'm trying to build my own engine, CV engine. Second, in India, we have a governmental body known as RE. It's painfully expensive. Testing, not certification, just testing. So I cannot even imagine how bonkers expensive it would be in Canada. So fundamentally, the idea was like, hey, it is a road tested, legal, certified thing. We are putting it on a basically truck bed. No, you can't do that because that would be logical. That would be solving the problem. No, you can't do that. We have to F the customer. So fundamentally, they invalidated the basically what you call the stamp, so they cannot legally make it and sell it. It was stupid, and they worked their ass off for past 2 years. That's what they have been working, and again, that's why they fall back onto mechanical trucks because they could not make the series hybrid, and you can't stop a company. So they're like, okay, let's try to do that. But because they had enough oomph, enough public interest, everybody started to email them, hey, can you please explain to me why you are designing a country that is falling apart so badly, that is best medication for soldiers that are suffering PTSD. Is like, have you tried offing yourself? Not even joking. So how about reducing inflation? How about that a truck that actually saves fuel? Because truck is the primary expenditure in your logistics. Logistics cheaper, people richer. Logistics expensive, people die. How about people not dying? Please explain why you are blocking it. So they had enough pressure, enough people, and once you actually confront a politician that is blocking it, it's like they don't actually have a brain. So they're like, but bro, you can't say that I'm taking money from America. It's like, come on, man. But enough pressure was applied that it was changed. This email just happened very recently, 27 April. He made video today. I watched it today, so that's why I'm making this. So fundamentally, that's the update. Finally, government is like, okay, you can use the engine. Now, this is the second company that gives me hope other than framework. Because here's the deal, Trump tariff helped him a lot because Trump fired a missile at Canada. Canada reached a point where Canadian politicians are like, hey, we're going to take money from auto manufacturers from America, but they can't give us money. They can't even give us trucks anymore. And again, people are angry in Canada. It's like, bro, why the heck empty nation is so expensive? Like, it's almost like you want to end yourself. And again, that was not a joke when I said, like, that's the first medication they prescribe to soldiers. So fundamentally, Canadian politicians were like caught. It's like, dude, your bribe money is not coming. Are you actually going to block it? So that did not. And again, Canada used to have truck companies, all of them gone. So they're like, oh, and they did pay money to Chinese company to make trucks in China. They're like, that happened, physically happened. So they're like, yeah, there was enough oomph, enough chaos that like, yes, politicians could not hide their face. So they're like, okay, we'll allow it. So that's a very good thing. And I have a very good feeling that in long years, like 25 years from now, 30 years from now, people will look back at Trump and like, this guy did so many amazing things out of chaos, but so many amazing things. This company got a green light. And be mindful, if 1 to 2 people are trying in India also. Trauma CV, I have already made a live stream with him. He's also trying the same thing. And you can see, like, he just took a truck bed, put a generator. Like, okay, why generator is not here? It's not there because that's not how you do testing. You put testing like this, verify everything, gearbox, E-axle, all of that, and then you do that. It's cheaper. Again, in India, it's brutally expensive to go to R8 for engine testing and all that. So fundamentally, I'm happy somebody is doing that. Like this puppy, this is a truck chassis. Even in empty, you would not get 22 km per liter. That's like a 4-wheeler car, not a truck, which is multi-ton. But a series hybrid topology does allow you have that. Like it's easy for it. So fundamentally, I have seen few people who have enough brain is like, either we can smoke weed or we can actually reduce fuel consumption. So that's happening. And Chase Barber was the first OG investor in Tesla Semi. He's number 25. That's the shocking part. Like I have to say, Elon Musk might have given brain damage to the planet, but he might have created the antidote himself. He's literally working. And be mindful, the good news for America also. If he actually starts to pull through, more and more truck companies will actually have to make it, because here's the deal. It does not matter how expensive the tariff is. People will buy at 2x price, 3x price if it says fuel. And if the fuel saving is big enough, as in like, hey, it is 30% actual fuel saving, there is no discussion. So I can guarantee you, sooner or later, every truck manufacturers will switch to that. Because while it sounds easy to say, we're going to have batteries, like, yeah, because most people do not have an idea of what is a transformer and how expensive those puppies are. And not to mention, without subsidy, you can't touch them. And by the way, they are not available on Amazon 24-hour delivery. They take 2 years to come. At least small ones. Megawatt. Multi-megawatt that you need for trucks, yeah, good luck. So fundamentally, that's a very good thing. So at this point in time, humanity has a choice. We can burn money on EV or simply have the same EV, just basically EV instead of basically a car that looks like a car but is a battery box with wheels, small battery, not like hundreds of kilometer range. And don't even try that. Just, bro, the range is 100 kilometers. That's it. Nice 100. I was like, oh, but we need to drive 10,000 kilometers. No, you don't. We know how. Now, how do you know that we know? Well, Apple and Android track your data. So they have actual data is like how many kilometers per mobile phone drives. Yeah, most do not even cross 30 to 40. Remove their fuel consumption at least. And again, once the battery is small enough, the actual mileage on battery, as in like a kilometer per unit, goes up. And engines are surprisingly light. Trust me, you will be shocked how light engines are. Once you remove the transmission, it's featherweight. And you're like, okay, isn't generator heavy? Not really. This is heavy because he's literally using 50 hertz mains generator. When you are talking about truck or vehicle, you generally use 400 hertz or a higher. So generator size go from this to this, much lighter. And that's why planes electrical systems are 400 hertz. So fundamentally, we can still have everything we want. Electric vehicle, just have the range extender. Do not make the battery like, only subsidy will allow. Like I did not understand, like, if Tesla was selling cars, which were quite successful at like 33 unit, why the heck Indian electric vehicles had like 65 unit battery? I'm like, what the hell? Government was giving subsidy based on the units you have. The more units, the more subsidy. So remove that and voila, save oil, save the planet. So there is hope. Like same way framework gives me hope, this guy gives me hope. And again, I hope the trauma CV guy also succeeds, but let's see. So this was a presentation on basically Edison motors. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.